Hey y'all, it's Jada and I am back with another video. First of all, if you are new here, thank you so much. Make sure that you subscribe. I have so much content in store about my tech journey, about lifestyle and more, so make sure you don't miss another video. And today is a really good topic. We're talking about some of the things that you should consider before pursuing a computer science degree. So if you are interested in that, then please keep watching. Okay, so I actually am currently a junior computer science student at Morgan State University, which is at HBCU in Baltimore. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do much research before I jumped into CS. All I knew was that I really enjoyed what I was learning in high school, at least my senior year of high school. So I just got into AP computer science and I was learning Java at the time. So I really enjoyed creating and breaking and building and all that type of stuff. So I said, hey, why not? However, there are some things that I wish I knew before just hopping right in. And so I want to talk about that a little bit in this video so that you can get some context on what to consider before you just pursue a major. So this one sounds kind of crazy. I don't know how else to describe it, but the one thing that I wish I knew before pursuing a CS degree is what CS really was. And I know that sounds crazy, but I really didn't know what CS was. I thought that computer science was just all about coding, and I was sadly mistaken. There are a lot of classes that I've taken, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is not what I thought I signed up for. But computer science encapsulates so many things. It is not just programming. I did a lot of math, which we'll get into. But that's one thing I really wish I knew, like straight up, what computer science really was. Another thing that I wish that I knew before pursuing a CS degree is that sometimes different forms of learning or outside learning will either like outweigh or be way more helpful than your courses will. And that's not to take value away from your coursework or your courses. Those are still important. However, when I was a freshman, I was heavily reliant on my courses to teach me everything. When you get into industry, you start interning, you realize that your courses don't actually all the way prepare you for some of those experiences. And I kind of learned that the hard way. And so once I went through my first internship for the summer, when I came back to Morgan, I definitely valued outside learning a little bit more than my coursework, and I still strived and I still do a good job in my coursework and things like that. However, I do take time out of my week to make sure that I'm doing outside learning, because there are things that I've learned on my own that I probably would have never learned in my CS program or my CS department. Just know that when you're pursuing a CS degree, some of the things or the fundamentals that you're going to need in the industry, you might not learn in your department. So you need to be kind of autonomous. Okay, so this next one, right? I did not know this. And this is so sad because a course catalog is definitely available. You can look at a course catalog and know what type of classes you're going to be taking. Did this girl do that? No, I did not. But it's okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. But sometimes you just look back and like, I could have literally known this if I had just took a look at my course catalog. But that's not the topic I'm going to bring up. The thing I'm going to bring up is that one thing that I wish I knew before pursuing a CS degree is that there is a lot of math. I'm going to say it again. There's a lot of math. A lot of math. And one thing I did not understand, like when I was younger or just a couple years back in school, is why is there so much math? Granted, I'm not terrible at math, but at Morgan, or just I think at a lot of CS departments, at the time the highest math for to take was differential equations. So I'm going Calc 1, Calc 2, probability and statistics, and then DE. That's disgusting. But there's a but. I understand now. And at the time, didn't understand. Why am I taking all this math? I am not this awesome at math. And I know there are a lot of people that really struggle with the math component of CS. However, I think my professors told me that math is important. But math is definitely important in regards to algorithms and things like that. But for things like runtime or time, space, complexity, things like that, math is incorporated, so we gotta take the math, okay? Now, I definitely kind of was taken aback when I realized that I had to take differential equations. I was able to use my resources, and your girl passed DE with flying colors. So I got something together and right, but I will say that the math really took me, kind of like hit me off guard. Like it took me way off guard. And I wish I would have known that before pursuing a CS degree. Granted, I don't think it would have changed my decision. I just would have been more prepared for taking all those math courses than before. The next thing that you should consider before pursuing a CS degree really will test your dynamic of how you work as an individual. And the one thing that I wish I knew was that like you have to be comfortable asking for help. You have to get comfortable working with groups. You have to get comfortable with sharing the load. And I don't know if people necessarily struggle with this too much. I hear a lot of college students complain about group work and stuff like that. But when you are a CS major or you're pursuing a CS or degree, there are going to be times where you just won't know what's going on. Like there are some classes where I just haven't or didn't grasp the material as quick as it was coming, and asking for help in the beginning was really, really hard for me. I was one of those I'll figure it out, I'm gonna do it on my own type of people, but I realized that thinking like that and spending so much time on that not only gives you less time to work with, but it makes it kind of hard when you see other people like grasping the material and you're just like, I'm over here struggling. But one thing clicked in my brain, I don't know when this happened, but a little birdie told me to ask for help, and ever since that birdie told me that, I've been flying ever since. I've been flying ever since, okay? So one thing I will say is that when you go out into the industry, you start working full time, everything is in a group. Like there are times where you do have your own projects to work on, but for the most part, everything is teamwork. Everything that you do involves a team. So if you don't like working on teams, you might want to consider thinking about that a little bit more. Because I will say that even though in our degree programs, some of the courses that we do take require you to do some things on your own, there are times where things require you to work in a group. There's no point in reinventing the wheel. If there are people that understand the material, it doesn't hurt to ask them to help you out or to tutor you or to go to your professor's office hours or to be like, you know what, y'all, can we work in a team together? That will really help you. So consider that before pursuing a CS degree. Do you like working in teams? Are you able to ask for help? And can you grow to be that? So, yeah. Okay, so here's a really positive thing that took me back in a really good way before I knew about my CS program. There are so many opportunities out here for CS students. And I mean like fellowships, internships, externships. I don't know. I think that's the thing, externships, co-ops. So many things and so many companies have been opening up. I mean, before it was like you have to be a junior or a senior. And I was like, wait a minute. Freshman, I can get an internship my freshman year, an internship my sophomore year. Yes, you can. It is crazy. And I talked about internships in one of my first videos. So if you want to hear more about my experiences, please make sure to go watch that video. I've interned at Microsoft and Facebook, so I'll leave the link down below if you want to hear more about that. But that's the one thing I did not know at all. I come from a family where my mom graduated from school. She graduated from college, and she was the first one in my family to do so. And you know, I have a twin sister. We both go to university, and we did not know anything about those type of opportunities being available, especially because like I'm a CS major, my sister's a STEM major, or she's a biology major, and my mom wasn't really sure about those things either. So we just kind of like did things that we really were passionate about, and realizing that there were a lot of opportunities granted towards us because of our majors and because of our work ethic. That was something that I really, really appreciated. And so that's the one thing that you should think about, or things that you wish you knew before pursuing a CS degree. Okay, here's another thing that I wish I knew before pursuing a CS degree. There are so many different avenues or different types of positions in CS. And this goes back to, I think, my first one about like computer science is not just programming. Y'all, there are so many things that you can do with your CS degree. I know so many UX designers. I know like PhD students, human computer interaction, technical writing. There are so many other things that you can do besides programming. and or writing code. So if you aren't the writing code type of person, you should definitely explore your options. There are so many different things that you can do, and I'm so glad that I was able to be introduced to those things, in my degree. But I wish I would have known a little bit more about that before pursuing, because I honestly did think that computer science was just coding. And so it's been pretty cool as being able to network with people and be on social media and go deeper into like computer science in our degree program. You learn about all these different avenues that you can take. So that was something I really appreciated, and something that I wish I knew before pursuing a degree. And the one thing that I wish I knew, and this one is kind of serious, so I definitely want to leave this last and kind of elaborate a bit more. And I just want to preface by saying this is my opinion, and I don't want anyone to feel offended by what I'm saying, but I definitely want you to keep an open mind when I'm saying this. So the one thing, and this is the last thing that I wish I knew before pursuing a computer science degree, is that some people and even some corporations will stereotype HBCU computer science students. And that was one thing that I didn't necessarily understand beforehand. After being introduced to so many great people and being able to go to conferences and being introduced and involved in social media, sometimes you do see those comments about people saying that you don't work hard enough to get positions, or I was granted this opportunity because I'm an HBCU student and that I actually didn't work hard for it. You even have some corporations judge HBCU students based on different criteria where the bar can be moved at any point, and it's definitely prejudgment, prejudice, and things that are out of our complete control. I'm so glad that I'm able to have a voice and be able to stand up and be passionate about diversity and inclusion. And we have to point out the times where, corporations or people in the industry are definitely not going for that cause. As an HBCU student, Jada, and I see a lot of the conversation happening on Twitter and from people that work in these spaces, and sometimes the HBCU student doesn't necessarily get that perspective out there, but I definitely wanted to use this time to get my perspective out there. There are things that I definitely don't know all the things about, and I definitely understand that. However, from my perspective, like I just said, there are some times where you do see people project judgment onto HBCU CS programs and onto HBCU CS students. So to HBCU CS students, keep working hard, keep achieving, and do not let people or corporations try to take away from your success, okay? Okay, guys, so that's about it. Those are some things that I wish I knew before pursuing a CS degree. If you are pursuing a CS degree, you rock. If you're thinking about it, you rock it. If you don't want to, you just want to learn on your own, you still rock, okay? I'm so glad that you are, encapsulating yourself into this space, and I wish you the best of luck. If you enjoyed the content of this video, make sure that you give me a like. Make sure that you subscribe again, and I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. Peace.